Good afternoon, everybody. It's time for TripWire again. It is Wednesday, January 29th. I can't believe we're 2025 and we're almost in February already. It's ridiculous. How are you, my dear? Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm excellent. It's warming up.
Well, you say it's warming up, but you look all bundled up.
Well, yeah, I know. But I've been running around like a crazy person all day. I've been going from one thing to the next. I didn't even have a chance to brush my hair. But yeah, but it is warmer. It's warmer.
Right. So you throw it up. I just put a hat on because because I don't know how to brush my hair. So, but anyway, great to see everybody. I hope you guys are in for the second half of a great podcast. We were with Daniel last week, and we're going to come up with the finishing touches this week. Just so much information, so many things to talk about and move forward with. Do you have anything for our audience before we bring Daniel in?
Well, I guess.
You don't have to have anything. That's fine. I'm just totally busting your chops. That's fine. But
I know, but I feel like there is a lot that's coming down the road. Hold on, just hold that thought. Just give me 1 second.
Well, you and I could next week just have a show just for us so we can catch up on, Naperville VFW Commander Stacy Boyer and all the antics that you're getting involved in.
Okay,
and I can talk about
real quick. I knew there was something really important.
Okay, here we go.
Well, Jennifer Sloan and her veterans team at Keller Williams, they are doing their Disney karaoke at the Naperville Post on February 8th, and so we all dressed in costume, and my Pocahontas costume has arrived, and I'm super excited about how this ensemble is coming together.
We're totally, as the only calendar girl for Tripwire, we're totally posting those pictures.
Yeah, and I even like it just as much as the Tinkerbell one.
Oh my God. Okay. That's a whole road we're not going to get into right now.
But this is a fundraiser. This is a fundraiser for the National Home. And it's amazing. We also raise money for the National Home with the Jetathon. So this is really important. That's the cool thing that's coming up. So, and there's a Naperville Responds for Veterans fundraiser with Dark Horse, which is Terrell Cole, and he's hosting it, and it's a Mardi Gras night, and that's on February 21st, and that's at the Post as well. Both of those things are all over the place on social media, but if anybody has questions, if they're watching it and they're like, oh, that sounds exciting, then just send me a little message. Give me the deets.
Exactly. Without further ado, I want to bring Daniel in because he's sitting there he is. Daniel, great to see you again, brother. How are you?
Well, I've been doing pretty good. I've been doing some maintenance, on myself since we last spoke, but everything's been going real well. I have a real positive outlook on the show today, and thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And
Stephen, I want him to tell us about maintenance.
Okay. I was going to get to that.
Okay.
But I thought I could actually tie it into myself. But go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead. Talk about maintenance with us, brother. What do you got?
Well, maintenance is kind of like to put it in terms for all my veteran listeners out there. It's like doing an after action review, but you do it on yourself. And and for me, I do one like once a week. I do it when it's convenient, on the weekend. Usually when it's the morning time and my house isn't up yet, so I kind of get some minutes to myself and I get to make myself some coffee and really I just sit down and I just kind of think about the week, the month. I don't limit myself to a period, and I just think about, all right, what's going on, what do I want, how have I been acting. Because, when we get into this stuff later on, you're going to find out with the 4 bad jumps that I had, all the things that I had to watch. So this is kind of part of that program.
Yeah.
It's the proverbial quiet time, reflection time in the morning, or whenever you want it to be throughout the day.
Exactly. My brother, he's still in the military. I love that man so much. He does this too. He has his own thing. He has like his office. Like so, his his comfort space is his office. He has like a nice architectural drawing table, all the things he likes, and a reading chair. So he reads. So he doesn't do it on the weekends. He just does it whenever he can. So.
Yeah.
You know, with the active duty lifestyle, I mean, you kind of got to make things fit, and that's what he does.
Sure.
Kind of like what I do, and he loves it because it's very peaceful for him, and it allows him to get some of his time back. You know.
Sure. Well, you bring up an interesting point. I think this is going to tie in to the future of your story that we're going to share here in a minute. But you talk about that, you know, like, well, he tries to just make time when he's on active duty. Well, technically, I mean, we're all, even in civilian life, we're all on active duty because we all have wants, desires, responsibilities. We're getting pulled in 100 different directions. That's the same lifestyle as active duty. We just have to make time for ourselves. I think that's the key point through all of that is we need to make time for ourselves so that way we stay on focus.
Absolutely. I mean, Staci, I'm not sure what it is that you do for yourself and your time, but I mean that genuinely. I don't know, and I would like to find out.
Why is he laughing at me? I walk.
Okay.
I walk
Right.
outside a lot.
Yeah.
I walk
I'm walking because
and I work out.
I have this vision of a Tesla recharging station at your house for you.
For myself,
plug into every night that you plug into every night, and that's where you recharge your energy for the next day.
No, I walk outside, and if you ever see me, it's like.
Yes, I know.
And then and I'm like really intentionally walking, and but my workouts, I work out. My workouts are very important to me, especially leg day.
Mm-hmm.
And and I do a lot of reading. I like to read an actual book.
Okay.
So I like open up a book and read it, and and that for me is getting away from screen time and getting back to like my roots, because I'm a writer, so I like to write an actual book.
Yeah. Okay, so like you've got your thing, and that's beautiful that you have your thing. You figured it out, and you know, you making that for yourself is probably very purposeful. Like when you do these things and you're gonna, you know, think or to be by yourself, I mean, you probably just let your mind go, and you just kind of let it go. But the key part, I think, that people don't know whenever you're doing, because we do this anyways, we just call it, you know, fun time. But if you add in the component of mindfulness and just observation of yourself, you're going to get a lot out of it that you never thought of before. Like you're going to, go ahead.
Reflection. So the word reflection is not a buzzword. We can use that without any issues on this call. This video cast, it's not one of those censored words. So I want to make sure that the audience understands, our watchers, our listeners. Reflection is important to each and every one of us. And absolutely. I think a lot of us spend time getting lost in the sauce when we don't spend time for ourselves to do reflection. So without further ado, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But without further ado, let's pick up where we left off last week, Daniel, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And let's talk, refresh our viewers' minds from last week, in the sense of you had 4 bad jumps in airborne.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's go there and let's kick it off. Let's get to this.
Thank you very much. So I have 20 jumps total in the 82nd Airborne, and the last 4, 17, 18, 19, and 20, those were all bad jumps. I fell too fast, and I had head injuries as a result. So anyone who has jumped out of an airplane, landed on the drop zone, and like you kind of didn't track everything, like there's some parts missing after you fell, you probably have something that should get checked out, because that's what happened to me. It happened 4 times in a row. So I had, and all the injuries were actually in the same mechanism, like the same physical path. They happen the same way. So 4 repeated times, when I hit, I went backwards, and the force was so hard that when they tell you to keep your chin tucked, it happened so hard that it ripped my muscles, not ripped them off, but it just ripped my head away, and I hit my head on the ground 4 times, and I had anywhere from a couple of seconds to about a minute where I was unconscious, and it all just passes like that, and you don't really realize it, because when you come to, you're like, oh, I'm awake, I'm good, but no. So that's what happened to me.
Just for clarification for our audience, these are bad jumps. These are not catastrophic jumps.
Yeah, so I was able to walk away.
Correct. Catastrophic jumps are where you can't walk away from it.
Yeah.
No. I was able to make it to the collection point, the rally point, whatever you were told. I was able to see the med staff, and then I went from there.
Yeah. Okay. Have at it, sir. All right.
Yeah. So with these 4 bad jumps, some symptoms that I had were migraine-like headaches. I had trouble focusing. My vision was difficult to focus near to far. So I also had balance issues. I had and still have those balance issues, photophobia. So I'm not like afraid of light. It's just that light hits me way harder. So even on overcast days, I usually wear sunglasses. I still have a little bit of hearing loss from the head injuries, which is actually kind of weird, because you don't think that you would mess up your ears when you hit your head, because they don't really move. But long story short, I lost some frequencies from the jumps. So once I had my first one, they dropped me into a pipeline. So I had a whole team of doctors, right? Like I talked about last time. So with those symptoms, the headaches, the vision, the balance issues, I also developed a stutter. So what you're hearing now is from a lot of hours with a speech therapist. And to go with that, I had specifically 2 hemorrhages, brain bleeds in the front part of my brain, the frontal lobe. So I'm not sure what anybody knows about that, but that's your personality, your decision making, your self-control, all these things that make you a functioning member of society. Those things were degraded. Like I said, I had to learn how to walk, properly again, all that stuff. So
brain bleeds. Yeah. I get.
So what happened with that is I felt useless. I felt very useless, and I developed depression like you would not believe. So getting through the military with depression was very hard. I had to lean on a lot of people, and it didn't go so well. Not that my team didn't help me. It just didn't work out for me. So in 2014, I actually was discharged. I didn't get medically retired. They just, hey, you're done, and you're going to go. So, and it was a separation. So
you're an officer. That's not your ETS. They just told you you're done. They're retiring you purposely.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I want to make a distinction, because enlisted, you get your ETS, they can say thanks but no thanks, go on your way. You're an officer, you're a commissioned officer. I mean, you kind of do the reaffirmation of, yeah, I'm going to stick in the military or whatever the case may be, but they told you thanks for your time, but we're done with you.
Specifically, and this still kind of sticks, like it sticks in my craw, as they say in the South. So with all of this happening, the chits, the hospital visits, the no PT, when they scheduled me for my next jump after my 4th one, I missed the manifest. So they wrote me up for missing movement, and that's what actually got me kicked out.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
They kicked you out for missing movement with all these medical issues you were having from the 4 bad jumps prior to that.
Yep. I mean, I had no recourse. I mean, when it comes to issues involving officers and discipline, and this would count, they take it very, very seriously, which I think they should, to hold up people to a higher standard. If you're in leadership, but
I
I
get
was
it.
injured. I was injured. I missed it because I missed it because I was on so many different medications that were downers. Like a lot of
that they prescribed you.
yes, that they prescribed me that was in my medical jacket. That is correct.
Right.
And
So,
did they have you on full duty, light duty? What did they have you?
So it was light duty, show up at 9 because I couldn't do PT because with the head injuries and the brain bleeds, you can't increase your blood pressure. That's not good.
They call that limited duty in the Army.
Yeah, limited duty. Yeah.
Yeah, not light duty. Light duty is different than limited duty.
Okay. So then you didn't show up at 9?
No. So the jump was scheduled before 9.
Okay. But you weren't supposed to be going to work until 9.
I brought that issue up because the profile had expired by about a week. So they scheduled the jump a week after my profile, my limited duty profile.
Right. So then let me play devil's advocate. The profile had expired prior to the jump. Everybody's still okay with you showing up at 9, even though they hadn't looked at your paperwork. When were you supposed to go in and reevaluate that shit so that you could be on limited duty?
I hadn't had the doctor's appointment to really have my reassessment. So I mean,
based on what scenario?
So the TBI pipeline was supposed to discharge me, and they didn't. Unless my memory is terrible, which I mean honestly,
we all have bad memory, brother. We've all been hit in the head a couple times, but nothing like what you went through by all means.
But yeah, so when I got the notice to get out, it was all right. We're gonna go. So I go back to my home of record and I just restarted restarted. There was nothing else to it. I mean, they were like, where do you want to go? I said home of record. So they moved me, like they did the Diddy move, and then I did that. Yeah. And then I vacated and I went back to Virginia Beach, and then I just started over again with not the healthcare team I had, literally no healthcare team because I didn't have a doctor set up in Virginia Beach yet. And I had to move my house, and that's arduous work, and all of that. So once I got back to Virginia Beach, it was, oh shit, what do I do now?
All right. So when did they discharge?
You didn't have a job when you moved back home, did you?
No.
At this point, were you married or?
I was, yes. Yes, I was. And luckily for me, my family lived, not far away, but, my family is very, I wouldn't say old school, but they are definitely, they definitely want to make sure people are self-sufficient, and they will give you a little bit of time to struggle before they come in and help. And that's what happened. And then I eventually actually got myself going because I did find a job. It was an outside sales selling car wax, at gas stations. And then after that, I got a job refinishing bathtubs. And then all of this, right? So this is the summer of 2014. I had gotten out in May. I got back to Virginia Beach, a couple of days later after like May 31st. And then I got the job doing tubs, and I had applied for my VA benefits. This is something that I made sure that I did as soon as I could. I applied for my CMP appointments, all that stuff. I got that paperwork started, and we can get into that later, but that was one of the best things I did, is to apply for the benefits that were owed to me. Good. Not that I earned, but they were owed from my service. Everyone here, you, everybody else that we know that are veterans, if you were injured, you should get evaluated, because
doesn't matter if you were injured or not. Anytime you spend on service, you need to get evaluated for whatever disabilities you have from the start date to whenever you get the hell out.
Absolutely.
You just file it, because it could be 50 years before you find out that you need help, and it's related to time and service, and then therefore it's covered.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I mean, I can get into more details about it. I used to actually help people from Naval Base Norfolk get out, which is my only time I've ever helped anyone in the Navy, apart from now. So there's that. After I got home, I applied for my benefits, and I was working. I worked until about March of the following year, when all of my symptoms started to crash. They just intensified, overwhelmed me, and I just shut down. I lost my job and a whole bunch of stuff.
No, not a whole bunch of stuff. Did you lose your marriage? Did you lose? What else did you lose? It's important that we share that with listeners, brother.
Yeah, I lost a lot of friends. I mean, from this time going up until now, I do not have the same friends. I do not have the same likes and dislikes. I am a different person, and I had to find it. But that's the start point. When I had nothing, I did not realize this until a couple of years later, but it was, if I have nothing, then I can do anything. I literally have a blank canvas to go build, collect, create, whatever it is. I had a second chance, and I didn't know it. So for about 4 or 5 years, I really, you can call it retired, because I didn't go back to work. I couldn't work. It was not good. I was actually on disability for a while, and that actually got me through. That and the VA actually allowed me to rest and recover so I can come back to work. So this is one of those things that applying for your benefits, applying to everything owed for you, is important, because ounces make pounds, cents make dollars, whatever you want to say, it all adds up. And the big question I asked myself was, how did I get here? How did I have no job? And how did I have, shitty balance? How did I have problems seeing? How did I not be able to read a book like I used to? I mean, there was so many things that got me down, and this depression just carried over. And I think it was 2015 was my first attempt at suicide, and then I think there was 2 in 2016 or 17, and then there was 2018, I do believe, was my last one. But during those times, it was definitely the lowest that I ever felt, and all of these, yeah.
I got questions leading into going back to Virginia, but I want to, for the viewers, I want to throw this out there, because I'm a huge advocate. I have a save date for myself. What was your choice? What was your choice for attempt?
To put a positive spin on this, Mama didn't raise no bitch, so I always try harder the second time. So it was a half-hearted attempt first, but it caused a lot of damage. That was a razor blade, and then it was pills, and then I tried it one time to do other things, but we're not going to get into that, because that's just not it. I was creative in ways I should not have been. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so four-time survivor from suicide attempts.
Yes, sir.
Like astronomical amount of depression.
You
effectively, you had medical problems that they were treating you for, regardless of a timeline on a chit. And then they literally do the dirty on you and say, lack of movement, now you're getting kicked out.
Yeah. I mean,
you're already being seen by medical professionals from your 4 bad jumps, but the Army, I got no love lost with the Army, bro. I'm just going to throw that out there. But it could be any branch of service. It doesn't matter. But the point is that, especially in 2014, when we've been at war for 13 years already, this is how they want to deal with you. This is how they want to
treat
cut sling load with you.
Yeah.
Get you out of service. That's how they want to do it, is, well, you missed the movement and we're just going to kick you out.
Yeah, I mean, this was also the time of the drawdown too, so they were looking they were looking for any excuse, and
No,
I gave it to them. I gave it to them. It didn't matter how.
no, 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 no. I disagree with all of that. I disagree with all that because any JAG attorney would have told you bullshit. And I'm not. This is not any knock on you. This is a knock on the institution. This is a knock on the institution because it has been nothing but I mean, you can go back as far as 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. It's been nothing but come in, serve us, and then get the fuck out of our way. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about us is what it boils down to. And that's my biggest point that I'm trying to bring to this is that they just don't care about us. They don't care what happens to us after we serve their purpose. That's my point. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. I'm sure you could share more. I think I'm going down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. So I'll just pause for station identification and let Stacy take over. So have at it.
Well, one of the questions that came to my mind, or one of the things that I was thinking about is it's very interesting listening to you tell your story because I feel like, and Stephen and I have had this conversation about him and the things that he's gone through and his dark passenger. I like Dexter. Sorry, I use the terminology from Dexter.
Love the reference. I love the reference.
Yeah, so his dark passenger. But it's you were depressed and you did these things and you couldn't figure out why you had lost this sense of yourself and one thing, I mean, Stephen's going off on a rant about the Army right now, but it's very interesting that you really haven't blamed anybody else. I don't see I see a lot of strength there. I'm curious about the day that you woke up and you said, okay, I've got a clean slate. I'm starting from ground zero and anything is possible. You know, I'm curious about that. I can tell that you've got, this is why Stephen has me on the show, because I reflect on things like this. While he just yells fuck and smokes a cigarette and drinks whiskey. No, I love you. It's fine. So what I'm thinking is like, it's interesting to me that you're not sitting there playing the victim card and blaming the Army. I mean, I think that the Army is at fault here, and I will do that for you, and Stephen will do that for you. But I am very impressed with the fact that, you know, you were depressed and you had some shitty times and you took yourself down that road too many times. But you're still at this point going, I don't know why it happened and why I lost the sense of myself. And I mean, you had these jumps and your brain was rattled. Your body was hurt. That's why. And the Army didn't take care of you the way they should have taken care of you. That's why. And we'll say it. But I'm curious. Do you remember the day? Did you write it down in a calendar or a journal? The day that you said, this is it. Enough is enough. I'm turning the corner here.
I don't remember the day, but I remember the feeling. And the feeling that I had before that one was that everything is my fault. And the 4 times that I blamed myself the hardest were those 4 times, you know? So, when I realized that I had more than that, I mean, it was, yeah, okay, this happened, but what are you going to do about it? Like, that was the question. It was always, what are you going to do about it? My grandfather, my father's father, he said, every day you start again. And my father is a big fan of the phrase, what's the next step? So they really tag team me pretty hard with a haymaker to the face with those 2 questions. I will say those are very big questions when you do not have a lot on your plate except emotion. They are very, very big questions.
So your next step, you know, what was your next step?
My first step was to figure out how to make, a living without having any kind of assistance. I wanted to be self-sufficient again. I wanted to be who I was. I wanted to be, young, taking on the world, being who I know I can be, being my best, seeing what I can do, getting after it, all the things that I loved doing with my team in the military,
Yeah.
I had to recreate my fire team outside the military. And that was when I got depressed again because it seemed so big. It was so big. Just, you can do anything, go anywhere. What do you want to do? I was like, well, I want to help people, so I'll go be a doctor. That was not that was shooting way beyond the moon, I will say. For a guy with brain injuries to be a doctor, we're starting to get into sci-fi a little bit. But to everyone out there who did have a brain injury and became a doctor, you're better than me. Go you.
What do you do now? What is your job now?
So I'm in sales. I actually work for a mast arm mounting hardware company, which sounds way complicated. But if you look at like traffic signals and you wonder how they're actually on the arm, that's the stuff that I mess with. It's just little brackets behind the signals.
I've never wondered that, but I will now. Next time I'll stop and I'll look and I'll go, maybe Daniel put that up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Every time you stop at a stoplight, think of me.
You ever wonder how that's attached?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's what you sell.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a need for that. Do you enjoy that?
I do, because before this, I was in insurance, which was in the same realm, with the people getting out, moving around. That's who I am, like in my core, is a person who likes people, wants to help. Oh yeah, I'm sure you can. so I wanted to give back, because if I didn't have what I needed at a certain point in my life, it is a statistical certainty in my mind that there are other people who need help with something. And with all of the things that I've been exposed to, experienced, been dragged through, made pilgrimages for, suffered through, all these things, they all count. That's the biggest thing that I learned, was that everything I went through taught me something. And that's what the reflection period is for, because if you just sit there, for me in the morning, I just sit there in my little chair with my coffee, and maybe I'll have, like Sports Center on. I love Sports Center. And randomly something will pop up from when I was like 25. Like when I bought a Subaru Outback instead of the freaking, Toyota Tacoma that I wanted.
We can't be friends anymore. You bought a Subaru. I'm just throwing it out there.
My wife at the time made me get one because she wanted to have kids.
With you, Lord, come on.
What, man? I'm a people pleaser.
So can we talk about her a little bit?
I'm with you. I'm messing.
Can we talk about her a little bit?
Sure. No.
No.
No. That part of my life has been successfully and healthily closed. So, going back into it really serves no purpose really for the story, other than she was there in the beginning. She helped me get to where I needed to go. And she wanted to be the other half to the equation, where she had her own career, be at home, raise kids, and do that thing just like her parents did. And the way she envisioned it did not go well for me. So in that point, I just, I checked out.
So the fact that you take the stance of not readdressing that topic speaks volumes for you, and as far as your path to get better for yourself. Mm-hmm. And I want to acknowledge that, because my biggest thing with my story has been that I'm an open book. But I like the fact that you take certain portions of your life and you're just like, no, that's no, we're not going to talk about that. It's done and over with.
So
it's whether or not it's neutral or positive or negative, doesn't matter. You guys, you're protective of that, and I applaud you for that. You're protective of that because she was there for you. She did mean something. She did fill a gap for you, and now you guys have moved on.
Yeah, I mean,
and that my point is that that's extremely healthy, and I'm applauding you for taking that stance, sir. That's what I was saying.
Well, thank you very much. And I think
can I ask you, Daniel?
Go
can
ahead.
I ask you? I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to ask you a question. So, and I don't want to. I know you don't want to talk about her, but so you had these 4. You attempted 4 times, and when was the last time? How many years ago? Since we're just going to be transparent about some of these questions here, but
I think it's 7 years ago now.
7 years ago. Okay, and how long and you were married through that whole time, right? She was there for that.
Well, so this is where my life gets more complicated, is that the woman he's talking about is not the same woman you're talking about.
Okay, were you married twice? I mean, I know you're with.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. So my first wife, her and I got divorced early. It was one of those, we met real young, had ideas, and we just didn't grow together. We grew separately.
I think a lot of people have one of those. So then, next, so we don't need to talk about that.
So, Daniel's so dismissive.
So, Daniel, okay, so next. So then you were married to this other woman, and was she the one that was there during this trouble time?
Yes.
And so then you guys parted ways, but she was there through all 4.
She was, yes. Yeah. She saw the start. She saw me slowly get wobbly. She saw me forget things more. And then she was the person that I talked about last episode, who was kind of doing the night shift for me, sleepwalking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you guys divorced.
Trying.
Trying.
I am desperately trying.
Okay.
And that's all that I can say on that matter.
Do we not want to talk about that anymore then? So, okay. So now we're moving on to the girlfriend that you're with now.
It's not done yet, so I don't think we need to talk about it anymore.
I want to talk about the new girlfriend.
Her?
Yes.
Oh, she's amazing. She
what's her name?
Elizabeth. And she is
no names. No names. Okay. Doesn't matter.
Well, no, because we met her. She comes to the.
Okay, she's not on the call, is she?
Well, she's not on the call. I didn't make him.
Forget things.
The point of all that is important, and what you're saying is important, because I said no to the story before, and I'm saying no to the second story now, is because I've told these stories enough. And when I tell these stories, the more I accept them and the more that I overcome them, because saying it out loud makes it hit different. If you're in your head the whole day, do this. Just say 2 sentences of things that you do not want to say to anyone. Go into your bathroom, say it quietly, but say it out loud to yourself. And you'll see that the things that you said in your head and the things that you just said out loud, they're not the same. 100% not the same. So when I was asked about this by various people in my life that cared about me, that cared about them, whatever, in telling those stories, I got to say how I felt. I got to actually hear how I felt. I got to then, once I said it more and more, I was like, well, you know what? That might not be right, because I know that I didn't feel that way, but I'm saying this. So that causes more revelations, that causes more reflection, if you will.
But it also causes more strife internally, because is that an accurate statement that I just threw out there? Because you question yourself, because one of the biggest problems I have with the VA, and I'm going to go off on a very small tangent here. One of the biggest problems I have with the VA, as far as us trying to deal with mental health, is that every single person you talk to on the phone, you got to relive the whole damn scenario through so that they understand. And that causes conflict within the individual. And what you're tapping into right now, Daniel, is something similar to that, about your personal situation, about what you've dealt with and who you've been with and whatever the case may be. Brother, I feel you. I feel you 100%. Yeah. So when you tell us that we're not talking about certain topics, I'm not the brand new investigator that's trying to make a name for themselves in a news station. I understand what you're saying, and I will not ask questions about that portion.
No. Well, thank you very much, OD. I do appreciate that.
Bruce.
But
So
yeah.
we have a. Okay, so you love your job now.
I absolutely.
Awesome, and your relationship's awesome.
Yeah, and that took work though. That took work because I didn't think I was ready for anyone for a while, but it happened.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
And everything that's important, that is significant, takes a lot of work. And so that's life. That's the human condition, to understand that. What are you involved in? So you're newer to the VFW, and I love that you are going to be doing more stuff. Or I hope you are going to be doing more stuff with us, because I think that you're an asset to our veteran community and what we want to do for the veterans there, because there's a lot of people that have. There's a lot of us with dark passengers, and not everybody talks about it. And it's nice to be able to know that you've got people around that don't judge you, that just sometimes can just sit there, and just be there next to you and understand where you're coming from. What other things are you involved in? Where you said you want to help people. Do you do outreach programs? Are you involved with nonprofits, resources, charities, anything?
Yeah, actually. So in addition to the VFW, I also became a member of the American Legion and the Naperville JCs. And
Awesome.
the Naperville JCs is it's the junior chamber. So it's
I need my son to join.
Send him to me. It's like, seriously, it really is a blast, because I went in with that stereotypical, and I'm just going to give you a visual, and then I'll describe it for everybody else. But it was like this. I went in like this.
Yep.
Arm crossed, shoulders up, just defensive as hell. Just very like, I'm not going to like this. What am I doing here? And when I talked to someone, I do believe it was Chad. It was Chad. He made it all better. I mean, for lack of a better term. I mean, him, Dennis, Ariana, Danny, Andrew, all these people made me feel welcome, and it kept me coming back. And that's the exact same thing that happened at the VFW in the American Legion. So what does this sound like that I touched on earlier? My fire team's being recreated. But here's the thing.
Are we on your fire team?
No one. Well,
hey, careful what you do with her mental powers right now. I'm just throwing that out.
I would be on your fire team, Daniel.
Well, you are, and so OD. So are you. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that no one tells us. When you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. You just got to accept the consequences. So I wanted more. I wanted more than one fire team. So VFW, American Legion, those kind of combined. That's beautiful. The JCs, that's a different one. I got my home life. My home life, my fire team is everyone who lives in my house and my pets. That's my fire team. I got 2 pets on my fire team. That's how I roll.
Me too.
No one told me I couldn't have this. Yeah, no one told me I couldn't have this. No one told me I couldn't have 7 blankets on my couch. No one told me I couldn't have 2
dogs. It better be 2 dogs.
It's not.
Damn it, man. Okay, we're going to talk about that offline. We're not talking about that right now. So
you can try.
So Lucy was asking, about what you're involved in, the future and stuff. But before we brought you on, she was talking about the Disney thing. So what princess are you dressing up for this
What's
Disney
your costume, Daniel?
What's a costume that you're going in?
February 8th.
I'm gonna
for the national home.
Man, if I go with my dark humor, I'm gonna be the guy from Up.
Oh, what is his name? Okay, that's a good one.
The gray-haired guy walking with balloons. It doesn't matter.
That's him. That's it. And I'm gonna give them all away. And then once I gave away all the balloons, I'm gonna start using the cane as a bat. I'm just saying. That's just how it works.
All right. I hope we'll see you.
All jokes aside, we're getting close to the end. I got a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
All right. The date that you got let go from the Army was when?
May 20. 22nd of 2014, 52214.
So when you went back to Virginia Beach and you filed with the VA, have you filed claims with the VA for what you dealt with while you were on active duty?
Absolutely, yes. That determination came about 9 months later. So I think it was July of the same year. And then 9 months after July was when I got my determination.
You have a disability rating based on what you suffered on active duty. So the reason for my questioning is this. You were broken when they kicked you out effectively.
Yes.
You talk about the downsizing of the military. You talk about, lessons learned through the freaking 20 years that we were in battle. They didn't med board you.
Nope.
I want everybody to understand that. They said, you're broken. We don't give two shits, and we're just kicking you out.
I am not a blue card holder.
Correct.
I do not have a blue ID card. I don't have an ID card. I just have the VA healthcare ID card that proves that I'm a veteran. That's the only thing.
That's ID, but that's not the point. The point is that the Army said, thanks for your service. You're broken as F, and bye. That's what they said.
Effectively, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I was. I mean, and this is where I go back to be like, I can make excuses for anybody, that did anything wrong to me is, but I'm not going to do it here because you guys told me not to. So I'm learning.
No, okay. It's not so much that we told you not to. Come on now. Don't paint us as the tirators of what is your justice and what's not your justice. You have shown through your survival what is justice for you, what is justice for Daniel, because you keep stepping forward. You keep answering the call to not only your dad's side, but also your grandfather's questions. The two questions, the 1-2 punch from your dad and your grandfather, every step of the way as you move forward. Yet nobody's been there to say, hey, you deserve better than just thanks for your service and goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So, and I realize I'm going down a rabbit hole yet again, but the point is, Daniel, I'm tired of all of us serving this government and serving the branches of service. And then they just discard the hell out of us when we're broken or whatever version of that is that they view.
So I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. So, First Sergeant John Okerson, he retired as an E8. He is probably one of the greatest NCOs I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And he actually lives about 5 hours south of me. I have not taken a trip out to see him, but he asked me a question probably like 2 weeks into me getting to my unit. It was, what are you going to do when you get out? Because if you can't wear the uniform and they won't let you wear the uniform,
yeah,
what are you going to do? Because they're going to fill your spot. And that was the conversation. So he gave me the next man up speech. It was, hey, what are you going to do if
but just because you missed the jump because you were on medical limited duty doesn't mean that at that point in time you made a conscious decision of saying, hey, I want out of the military. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. I didn't want to get out. My plan was to be
that's my point.
My plan was to be a battalion commander and raise up the junior officers below me to be what I wanted the military to be, which is, and please hear me out to the end, a ruthless and thoughtful, people-centered, objective crushing force.
Agreed.
That's what I wanted. I wanted the smartest people to do the most when they were required, but I was also willing to give them the personal leadership support to make sure it gets done. That's what I wanted to do.
And the off time to recover.
Yeah, the off time to recover. Well, I mean, when I was in the military, yes, you're right. You're right, 100%. But I'm always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just didn't care. I just didn't care when I was in. But now, when I realize that I'm a human being, and I'm not always needing to do a job, then
Yeah.
I can take that time, because when you're on active duty in the civilian world, you have defined hours. So outside those hours, you can carve out that time.
Agreed.
I have a question. So he was not med boarded out, so he doesn't have a blue card. So,
No.
Okay, so what would be the difference in his situation right now if he was?
If he was med boarded, he'd have a retired military ID card right now.
Okay.
And everything that he has done with the VA,
and retirement pay, because they would have med boarded him out and retired him.
And everything that he has done with the VA would have a different connotation with it based on his med board process coming out of active duty.
Can he?
I didn't know.
Can he fight that? Is there anything that we can do?
So, not that I'm trying to put.
I like challenges like this.
Here you go, OD.
Not that I'm trying to put the cart before the horse. Oh, wonderful co-host of mine. I'm already working on it.
Oh, let me know how I can help.
Absolutely.
We will, 100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do want to say something kind of to wrap this all up,
Yeah, real quick. Let's get this.
So when I was at my lowest, I had an external locus of control. I always thought everything happened to me. And when I was at my deepest, it was crushing. But once I saw a little bit of, well, if it's always everyone else, then what's the other common denominator? Because it's all different people. It's only me that's the common thing. So I shifted how I looked, the perspective of how I viewed things. I did not take just one. That was my biggest trick. When I was taught to turn the map around. Everyone here who's been in the military will understand when you say turn the map around, you're trying to think like the enemy of how they would attack you. So that's what I did. I said, okay, well, I feel like shit because this thing happened at work. And then it's like, well, did you do everything? And how can we fix this? And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get over this now because I realized what happened. It was me or it wasn't. And okay, so that makes sense now if I put myself in the perspective of literally anyone else but me. It didn't matter who. It could be a kid, it could be your mom, it could be your boss, whatever. As long as you see from a third party or just not first, you can see way more. And that's what I did. I made it a mission to ask people, hey, did this seem right? Hey, did I sound okay there? Hey, am I coming on too strong? Or is my language not okay? Whatever it is, in the situation I was in, I changed it to what can I affect? What can I control?
Agreed.
And that got me here on this podcast with OD and Staci Boyer.
All right. So
Love it.
One last statement before we freaking get out of here, but I'm just going to say this. If you don't cuss more like a sailor the next time we're on this, we're going to have problems. So, and then with that being said, Daniel, so many more topics to jump into about your path moving forward. As we approach this from the outside looking in, I want to bring you back. Staci and I both want to bring you back to see your progress moving forward. After February, after the Disney thing, we got to bring Tom back because we talked to Tom earlier, and we need to bring him back because we need to know what princess he was for the Disney.
I picked his costume out for him and Faith.
Oh shit! So okay, sorry. So I want to just say thank you everybody for joining us on TripWire this afternoon. Daniel, been a great having you on, sir, and I'll give you a call later on today, and we'll talk. God bless. Love you all. And remember, the path to freedom is paved with courage.
And honor is the wire we never trip.